Hi, everybody. So I want to start off by apologizing to Galco's, which is I don't even know exactly what you would call it. It's sort of an artisanal soda shop. It's kind of a pretty cool shop. It's here in Highland Park. It's on York, and it's basically a store that sells all sorts of really neat sodas. So soda pop. I don't know. Some people call it different things in certain regions, but it's a soda store, and they sell from all around the world, all sorts of different kinds of sodas that in the U.S. are not available as much because we have an oligopoly, that is consumed by corporate overlords. So Coca-Cola and Pepsi are the only two sodas that we get. Meanwhile, in the whole rest of the world, there's hundreds of thousands of sodas that are equally delicious, more delicious than Coke and Pepsi, frankly. Well, Coke is pretty good, I guess. But anyway, I also want to apologize to Old Man Galco. I don't know if that's his name, but an antique soda shop and an old guy. I put two and two together. One of the reasons why I found that soda shop and why I sort of gravitated it towards it so much is because I am sober. I don't know how many people know that I'm sober-ish, right? But I don't drink. I'm sort of a teetotaler, and I really don't do very much in the realm of substances. And there's a good reason for that. Unfortunately, the downside is that being sober is horrible. So that's why I sort of deal with a lot of anger issues, and I'm sort of a loose cannon because I am constantly irritable because I always have to be sober. And that is a very, very excruciatingly awful way to live your life. So when I'm in traffic, and I'm sort of going around town and doing my daily business, I get more irritable and more angry than a normal person would. And because that's just my personality, I guess. And I've really tried to work on it a lot in therapy, but it has led to a lot of situations like this that I really regret, because unfortunately you can't be sober from yourself, right? And your personality and all of your mental illnesses and problems. So in conjunction with the anger issues, I also have, I think, I've never been diagnosed, but I think that I have a little bit of autism because every night I go to the same restaurant, Zanku Chicken it's called, and I order the same thing, and I have my little routine every night where I have to go park in, I'm not going to give away, I'm not going to dox myself, but I park in the same parking spot every single night. And if that's, so that's always when I'm driving over there, I'm actually very anxious, and sometimes I have a panic attack because I want my parking spot to be there, and if the parking spot's not there, then it honestly can ruin my entire night because I like that parking spot because I get claustrophobic also, so I like it. It's a corner spot, and that means I can see the road, and I can see the trees, and I can see all down the street. Now, sometimes the other problems will arise, like when I park in that parking spot. If somebody's like smoking a cigarette right next to the parking spot, that'll ruin my night also because I can't eat and also be smelling cigarette smoke. Sometimes there are homeless people who sort of camp out and have all their dirty stuff. I'm not saying that, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it. I'm just saying it's unappetizing to have that right next to me, and you can, maybe somebody is going to think I'm a jerk for that, but you agree. Come on. So anyway, there's just a lot of things that can go wrong. And so I'm always really, really on edge every night because I really want everything to be perfectly and exactly the way that I want it. And if one thing is not exactly the way that I want it, then there's going to be a severe problem. And it's the difference between me having an amazing night that is euphorically wonderful and me having possibly the worst night of my entire life. Could be one of those little details. So when I leave, I order it on an app so that way I can leave and go there and have it'll be ready. Because if I don't order it, okay, so if I try to go, sometimes I was like, well, if it's a local store, so maybe I should try to not use these third-party corporate apps and order from the locals, so that maybe, I can get to know the people there. But the problem is that I have to pee a lot also. So what will happen is, when I get to the Zankou chicken, I have to pee as soon as I go in, get the order, pick it up, then immediately get the order, then go walk out to my car, and then I eat the first half of the order, which is the chicken. By the time I've gotten to the second half of the order, which is the 2 sides of basmati rice, I have to pee again. And so I go to the grocery store that's right next to the Zankou chicken, and I pee at the grocery store. And I come back to my car. So that way, for all of the meal, I don't have to pee. Because if I have to pee while I'm eating, then that is also going to ruin the whole night for me, or at least the meal, because I can't. I can't relax and eat, right? So there's a lot of problems that can arise in this too, because if somebody's in the bathroom, then let's say that when I get to Zankou and I try to go to the bathroom, somebody's in both of the bathrooms. Then I have to wait for an indeterminate amount of time, and the food is getting cold. And sometimes the people don't even come out. Sometimes it's the people who are the workers who are just sitting on their phones trying to kill time because they hate their life and their job. So if I have to, sometimes I will have to say, okay, forget it. What I'll do is I'll get the food, I'll go back out to my car, and then I will put the food in my car and I'll run over to the bathroom that's in the grocery store and I'll pee then. Because the parking spot that I like is actually about a block or so away from the Zankou chicken. So the time that I'm walking to and fro the car, I am me having to pee is starting to happen again. So, but it's also not too. So okay. So anyway, I'm sort of getting into the weeds here, but I think you get the idea. So if somebody's in the bathroom at the Zankou, then I get the food, and then I go to the car. And then, if somebody's in the bathroom when I'm at the grocery store, then that's even worse, because I only have a very small amount of time before the food gets cold. And if the food gets cold, then that's another thing that's going to ruin my night. Right? So it's a very, very sensitive operation. Every single little thing has to be perfect. And if anything goes wrong, and I wish I wasn't like this, but it will be awful. So now this brings me to the other night, because what I started doing was I started integrating a new aspect into the routine where I would get a soda from the fun soda shop, and I would drink that while I was eating. Now, the problem with that is that it makes me have to pee quicker because it's a sugary carbonated beverage, but it's usually worth it, and it usually doesn't skew the whole timeline up too much. Usually when I do the intermission between the chicken and the rice and I peed in the grocery store, then that's fine. I don't really notice any huge difference if I integrate the soda into the routine. So the other problem there is I can't drink the soda if it's warm, because that's disgusting, and I might as well not even do anything. So that means that's a lot of forethought that has to now go into that part of the operation, which means that a couple days ago, I will have had, so Galco's, when you go there, they have a freezer that has cold refrigerator. I guess it's a refrigerator that has certain selections of soda refrigerated already. So a lot of times what I'll do is I'll go into the Galco's and I will grab one from the refrigerator, and that's the one that I'll eat when I have my dinner. And then I'll get 5 others from the not refrigerated section. And let me check something here. I just want to make sure the phone's still recording. Okay, good. That happened to me the other day. In the past couple of videos, I've had to check every single time to make sure it's still recording, because the other day it stopped recording, and I don't know why. And that was really devastating. I lost a really good take. Okay, now let me just do it again. I need to make sure it's recording. Okay. All right, so, well, where was I? Galco's. Okay, so I'll get a refrigerated cola, soda pop, whatever you want to call it in your region. Some people call it just Coke, which they'll call any soda a Coke. But anyway, I'll get the refrigerated cola, and then I'll grab 5 others, and then they give you a 6-pack, a recycled 6 thing that you can hold all the 6 sodas in. Okay. Here's the problem with this, because now there are so many layers of forethought. This is the risk with integrating another part into the routine, is that now there is even more things that can go wrong. So there's 15 stages along the way that something can go horribly wrong and ruin the entire thing. So if I am going to get dinner, I have to plan the Galco's trip. So basically, let me take you through the way that I would normally do this. I'm sitting on my computer working, and then it's time for dinner, and I decide I'm going to go get dinner. Before I leave, okay, so remember when I said I was kind of sober? I also take something called Kratom, which is a whole other story. I'm going to have to explain that in a different video. But basically, I have to have the Kratom at, 5 o'clock is typically always when I go get dinner. It's a little early, but I like eating an early dinner. So at 5 o'clock, the Kratom takes an hour to work. So I have to take the Kratom at 5 o'clock, and I have to take it and then immediately order the food and leave. Because if I don't do that, the Kratom is going to take effect before I'm finished eating, and then I'm going to be really irritable. So I have to take the Kratom at 5 o'clock, and then I have to go to the bathroom and pee, because remember, I have to pee a lot. So I have to pee, and while I'm in the bathroom, I order the food on the app. So that way, by the time I get to the Zankou, I drive over there, that's 15 minutes. So by the time I get to the Zankou chicken, the food is ready, and it has not been sitting there for a long time. If I order any earlier, then it will be sitting there for a long time, and if I order any later, it's not going to be ready by the time I get there, and that throws off the whole pee schedule. So now, okay, so I'll drive to the Zankou after I've ordered and peed on the app. Well, I don't pee on the app, I pee in the bathroom, but I order on the app, and then I go into the This is what I'm talking about. I'm sorry that every time somebody walks by the camera, I get upset. But because now I am totally messed up, and I was right in the middle of explaining the sequence of events. And now everybody's going to get confused because I'm not going to remember where I was, and it messed up my chronology. And also, there's a sidewalk right there. Go on the sidewalk. What's so different about walking on the street right next to my car besides the sidewalk? I have to start over. So, 5 o'clock, take the Kratom. Go in the bathroom and pee. While I'm peeing, order the food. Go to my car. I can't dilly-dally. I can't, because, all right, so I guess I have to be more clear. Kratom, bathroom, order. Water. I have a big water bottle. So I fill it up. It's summertime, so I have to fill this all the way up with cold water. And in order to make sure that happens, because the tap water isn't cold enough to be refreshing in the summer. So what I do is I have a plastic bottle of water that I fill with water, and that's sort of like my refill. So I fill that with the tap water and I put it in the freezer. So that way, by the time I finish one of these, I can go in the freezer and it will be half frozen, so it will be ice cold. I pour the refill into the water bottle. Plastic bottle goes in the water bottle. I fill the other half of the water bottle up, and I put it back in the freezer. So then the cycle can continue with my refills that are cold. So I have to fill the water up and then leave. Ideally, I will have remembered to fill the water bottle before I order the food and go to the bathroom, because then that's going to start throwing off the rigorous time schedule. So I'll fill the water, drive over to the Zankou chicken, get my parking spot that I like, lock the car, walk to the Zankou chicken. There's a traffic light there that's very annoying. So it's the worst case scenario is that I have to wait for the traffic light to turn a certain amount. Anyway, walk to the Zankou chicken, go to the bathroom. 1415 is the code to the bathroom. I use the restroom, I come out, and ideally, the lady there knows my name. and she knows what I order. So she'll say, Daniel, here you go. So bathroom, food, ideally no amount of time has passed in between those two things. Get the food, walk back out to my car. Eat the first half of the meal, which is the chicken kebab. Put the lid back on and put it over here. Go to the bathroom in the grocery store, come back, take the lid off, finish the rice. Then I'm done and I can go home. So if I want to get a soda, that now means that I have to now what's been going on is, so I'll tell you, let me just skip to the night of, and I'll explain why I was so irritable that night and what led to the incident. So I got through the part of the process at 5 o'clock, pick up the kratom. Okay, actually, I remember now. This is all sort of messed up too, because I was a little late that night. So it was about 5:45. So 5:45, I said, all right, because I was working on something. So I said, all right, I'm going to go get dinner now. Take the kratom, go in the bathroom, order the food on the app. Fill the water, go in the car. And when I got in the car, I said, you know what? I really want a soda. I think that would be really nice to have a soda. If everything goes well and I have a nice cold soda, that'll really, really make me happy. And that'll really improve the night. So it's worth it to try to make it work, you know? So, but now this is going to throw off everything, because now the soda shop, yes, is on the way technically to the Zanku when I drive there. But also, I have to find street parking. And I have to get out of the car, get the soda, and come back in the car, and then proceed. And I don't want to have to, and I don't want the food to get cold. So I'm already too late. I sort of just have to bite the bullet on that. So the two problems there is the food getting cold and also the kratom working before I finish the food. Ideally, what I would have done was remembered. So I would have remembered that I wanted a soda before I ordered the food, so that I could go to the soda shop, get the soda, and then while I'm in the car, having gotten the soda, order the food, so that same amount of time that the food is ready will be right. But I did not remember to do that this night, because I had already ordered the food and I had already gotten in my car. So now I have to make a decision. Should I go to Galco's, try to find street parking, and get the soda that's cold on the way and just accept that I'm going to be a little later for the food? That's not the end of the world. So I can live with that. If it means getting a cold soda that'll make me really happy, then I can live with that. So I said, okay, now I don't know what time Galco's closes. Apparently they close another different time every single day. So on this particular day, I looked up Galco's, what time do they close? And on this particular day, they closed at 6 o'clock. It's 5:45. So I am realizing I have just enough time to make this work. Because it takes, if I'm really quick, maybe 5 to 10 minutes to get to the Galco's. Now, crisis mode happens because I realize I have not filled my water yet. So I cannot go without my water, without my cold water. So now it's 5:45. I have started the car and I've ordered the food. Now I have to turn the car off, put the phone back in the cup holder, and I have to run in and I have to do my refill with the refill that's in the freezer. And that could take about 5 minutes, because it takes a long time. This is a big thing. So it takes a long time for the water to go in here. And also what happens is that the frozen bottle, if it's been in the freezer for a few hours, which normally it has, the top gets frozen. The body doesn't get frozen, but the top part where the cap is gets frozen. So there's a plug in the water that is a block of ice. So I have to run the top of the bottle under the hot tap water to melt the top of the bottle. And then I have to pour. So that could take another 3 minutes, because it takes a long time for it to melt enough that there's a hole big enough for the water to come out. And a lot of times what happens is I get impatient and I try to melt it too early. Or I say, okay, it's fine, it's melted. Then I try to pour the water out, and there's only a very, very small pea-sized hole, and the water just trickles out. And then it takes 3 to 5 minutes for the water to get into this bottle. So, oh my God, I'm getting so stressed just thinking about it. No wonder I freaked out on this night. So I'm trying to remember exactly what happened. Basically, I realized that I didn't have the water, so I had to go in, and I had to melt the ice cap because it was a very, very, I hadn't drank it in a long time. So it was very, very frozen. So I had to run it under the hot water for a long time. Also, I don't want too much hot water to get in the bottle, because then it will dilute the ice water and it won't be as cold. And then what's the point of doing any of this? So I have to kind of eyeball it, because normally what happens is I'll run the hot water under the top of the thing, and then it'll sort of go like, and then when it does that, I know that I've hit a cavity where there is a reservoir of ice water that is melted. So then I know that I can pour it in. So then I pour it into the water bottle. It takes forever. And then I have to fill the refill back up with tap water, which takes equally as amount of time, because the same amount of water has been displaced in both things. So I got to fill that up with the tap water. So that, now I'm 5 minutes. 5 minutes have passed. I get my water, I get back in the car. It's 6:50. Excuse me, 5:50. And the place closes at 6. So I am thinking, I cannot afford to lose even one more second. I have to immediately, if I immediately turn the car on and I go as fast as I can down the road, and I don't get any red lights, and I don't get traffic, and I immediately find a parking spot, I will have just enough time to run in there, get a cold soda from the refrigerator, and then come out, and then be able to go to the Zanku in time. But everything has to go perfectly. Nothing can take longer than it's supposed to take, and I cannot get held up by anything else. So I start the car and I drive over, and I'm driving as fast as I can. So keep in mind, I can't let any pedestrians go. I can't be nice to anybody, because I have the seconds matter here. So, you know, there's people always walking their dogs on the street by my house, and I'm like, well, let me go first because it'll take me quicker. The thing I don't understand about pedestrians is it will take me. Why do I have to stop for you to mosey your way on down the street for 45 seconds when it'll take me under 1 second to clear this intersection, and then you can have all the time you want in the whole world to cross the street when I'm gone? So that's normally what I do. The person comes up with their dog and they're walking, and I'm just like, and then I zip down. And then in 5 seconds, they forget that I ever existed anyway, so it doesn't really matter. So, so far, so good. I'm driving down this way, and I go up to the red light. I would have made it. I had to make a left turn. So it was that situation where the red light is turning from green to yellow to red. And it is yellow. And in fact, you're supposed to go into the middle of the intersection to make a left turn as it turns yellow and then red, and then you make the left turn. Especially in LA, you have to do that, otherwise you're never going to get to your destination. You're never going to make it. And people don't understand this. Old people who are stupid, people who don't know how to drive, they will just stop and wait for the light to tell them to go, or wait for there to be no cars at all. And in LA, that will never happen. There are 10 million people all driving at the exact same time. You will never get a perfectly legal, perfectly perfect, 0% risk left turn in Los Angeles. It will never happen. So you need to be assertive, and you need to make it happen. The person in front of me didn't understand this. So I was speeding down the road to make this yellow light. The person in front of me is just do. They slow down at the yellow light. As soon as it turns yellow, they start slowing down. And I am riding their ass. I am doing the thing where I go up and down so that they know that I want to go. But they don't care because they're talking to one of their stupid friends. So then I'm stuck at a red light, and this red light now, it's 5:53, I think. I am running out of time, but I still have just enough time to get over there. So I wait for the red light to turn, and I go on my phone and I look at Twitter or whatever. The red light turns to green, and of course, so we get a green arrow now. So now we can go and everything's fine. So we start to turn, and I am trying to go as fast as I can. This person in front of me got a couple of feet down the road and slammed on their brakes. So I had to slam on my brakes as hard as I could because I was going really fast because I wanted to go. I had to slam on my brakes as hard as I could. So then gravity now, all of the stuff that's on my passenger seat flies into the dashboard. And everything that's on my passenger seat is my water bottle, my whole 1,000 pack of Kratom capsules. And what happens is the Kratom hits the dashboard before the water, and then the water hits the Kratom. So the bag explodes. And the Kratom capsules go all over the car. And I am very upset. Because why did this person stop? For no reason. I realize they are letting someone go who is waiting at the drive-through line to get out, to make a left turn, because they're going to be Mother Teresa. There's nothing worse than people who try to be nice at the expense of safety. That is not only not safe, it's stupid, and you're putting everyone else at risk. Do what you're supposed to do. Stop trying to feel good and feel nice. Just do what you're supposed to do. Do what you're supposed to do. So I honk for a very long time because I'm trying to emphasize this is not acceptable. Let me check and make sure I'm still recording. Okay. This is not acceptable. I honk as loud as I can. Well, I mean, I guess there's only one volume that I can honk, but you know what I mean. I honk long and hard. Of course, the lady gets pissy with me, So I see her and her stupid friend. The thing that also bothers me about people on the road, one of the things that contributes to my road rage is I have this weird mentality where people act so... I'm not sure exactly how to phrase this. I feel like people are a little too confident that I am not going to get out of the car with a tire iron and beat them to death. Does that make sense? I'm not going to do that, but also I just feel like people are a little too comfortable with the fact that there's no chance that would ever happen. There's quite a large chance that would happen. So when people, not from me specifically, but when people are like, "Oh, fuck you," and they act like they're Mr. Big Shot, who's to say the person in that car, why would you ever say anything? There's a mosquito in here. Hang on a minute. Why would you ever, if you ever said anything like half the stuff people say on the road, or to somebody on the sidewalk, you would get your ass kicked. Why should that be any different on the road, right? And they're very lucky that I'm a nice person. Do you know how many people get shot in road rage incidents on these streets in Los Angeles? So this lady in front of me is getting all pissy with me, and her and her friend are like, "Oh, fuck you." So I am like, oh, you know what? Because I can tell they think they're sitting pretty up there. They are not even considering the fact that I might be a lunatic and that I might do something. So I was not going to do anything, but also I wanted to show them, hey, you shouldn't be so confident that I'm not a crazy person, right? And then I wanted to see their little faces shut up real quick and all of a sudden go from overconfident to scared. So I have my little move that I do, which is when somebody starts sassing me, I slam on my brakes, I throw it in park, I open my glove box, and I rifle around in it for nothing. There's only chapstick in here. So I rifle around in it. I slam the glove box shut. I open the driver's side door and I slam it out and I start walking towards their car in a huff. And this normally really, really scares them. So of course, this lady just zips on down the road. And I'm like, yeah, that's what I thought. Not such a tough guy now, are ya? I didn't think so. Want to say that again to my face? Say it again to my face. Now it's 5:56. I don't know why I keep saying it's 6 o'clock. Every single time I've said that it's 6 o'clock. 5:56. So here's the situation now. I will still have time. According to the posted business hours, I should still have time to run in there real quick, just real quick. I already know the soda that I want. I can literally be in, and if everybody else does what they're supposed to do, then I can do my part in time me with a stopwatch. I can do my part in under 30 seconds. Time me with a stopwatch. And that's what I ended up. So anyway, I parked at Galco's and on the street. And I see the old man Galco. I don't know if that's what actually his name is, but I see him sort of locking up the parking lot. So I get out of my car and I start walking over to the door. And he says, "Oh, I'm sorry, sir, we're closed." And I said, "No, you're not." And I check my phone and I show him and I say, "It's 5:57, 6:57. No, excuse me, 5:57. So and I said, "Okay, so you're not closed. See, if maybe your watch is fast, but you are not closed. I will only take 30 seconds. I just want to go in there." And I found that people will normally, if you're nice and you're sweet, then people will normally do what you want. So I say, "I'm so sorry, I really just wanted to get a soda real quick. I'll be so quick. I will literally," and I said the line, "Time me with a stopwatch. Get out your stopwatch right now and time me, and I will be under 30 seconds. I'll get out of here before 5:56. And then that way you will still be able to close at 6 o'clock like your website says." The website doesn't say we close at some point between 5:50 and 6 o'clock whenever we feel like going home. The website says you close at 6. I didn't scream it like this. This is me retelling the story and getting upset. I may have been loud, but that was only because there's traffic running past us, next to us. So I had to be loud in order for him to be able to hear me. So I say, "You close at 6. Just let me in there. I'll take under 30 seconds. And he says, "I'm sorry, sir, we're closed." It's not. And then he goes into this whole diatribe about how 6 o'clock is just the posted hours of when we close, because we have to I've already taken the cash out of the cash register. I've already closed down the cash register. I've already mopped the floor. I've already done all my closing duties. And so it's over. No customers are allowed in here. And I emphasize again, well, that is illegal, because you are closing. If you close at 5:55, fine. Put that on your website and put that on the door. On the door. And I walk up to the door and I show him 6 o'clock. So I go in because I'm not doing anything wrong. The store does not close at 6. I don't even know if this guy really works here. This could just be a homeless guy who's just being schizophrenic, thinking he manages a soda shop. So I go in and he says, "Sir," and he starts, because he's an old guy. So he's sort of trying to run after me and say, "Sir, you need to leave or I'm going to call the police." And I said, "Go ahead and call the police. Call the police so that they can tell you are open." And that's when I start. So what I started to do was I started to take a screen recording of my phone so that you would be able to see the time on the corner. So I started the screen recording of my phone, and unfortunately I thought that I had turned on the setting where it would also record the microphone from the phone, and it didn't. So unfortunately this video would have ended up being useless because it was just a screen recording of my phone background ticking up to 6 o'clock. But in my head at the time, I thought that it was recording my microphone, so that way the court, if we needed to go to court over this, they would have a video of the interaction and a timestamp. So proof that I was still in the store during its operating business hours. And he's trying to tell me, "Oh, you're trespassing, you need to leave." And I said, "No, I'm not trespassing if the store is open." And he is now he gets his granddaughter, whoever the hell it is, to start walking after me, clocking on. They're both clocking at me to get out of the store. And I remember when I said that I'm very sensitive and I have a lot of anger issues. You have to remember now, because of this whole situation, the food is going to be cold. I have to pee. I'm not going to make it in time. I'm probably not going to get my parking spot. So now I am dealing with the fact that my entire night is now ruined because I am so stressed. They have made me have an anxiety attack about this because they're yelling at me. So now my night is ruined because I am having an anxiety attack. So now, even if I get the soda, and even if everything goes perfectly after this, my night's ruined. So I will admit, remember when I said I am struggling with anger problems? Remember that I said that? I am holding myself accountable. I am trying to be better. That's something that I've said this entire time. So that's why I started the video off by apologizing. I would like to apologize to old man Galco for hitting him on the head with the bottle of soda a few times until it broke. I am very, very sorry for that. Now, I was not wrong because you were wrong because it was not 6 o'clock yet. But I will admit that I wish that you had not put me in that position. Let me say it like that. Because I am sorry that is what you did. Because it's not, now listen, I know that the violence is wrong. Let me say it like that. But also, I, in a way, was defending myself. Because if it is almost 6 o'clock, if I am, the way that I look at it, they were attacking me for not doing anything wrong. So this would have been the same as because I'm in a store during their operating business hours and I'm shopping like a regular customer and I'm not doing anything wrong. Now these two people are attacking me for doing that, verbally assaulting me and maybe physically assaulting me. I don't know. They were getting very, very close and the situation was getting heated. So I was trying to de-escalate the situation. And the only way that I could see to de-escalate the situation was to neutralize the threat. And after that, the situation was very de-escalated because nobody was conscious. So I did technically do the safest thing. So because I don't know if old man Galco is going to suddenly go crazy and get a shotgun and start trying to shoot me. So anyway, but yes, it is sad that it happened, and it is also very sad that well, I'll say this. I should have left a little earlier. My lack of foresight is what put me in this position, and I stressed myself out. I should have at least, if I had remembered at 5 o'clock to go eat, and I hadn't gotten held up by doing all my social media stuff, then I would have had plenty of time to get the soda. I would have had all that, and that is on me. So my learning experience from this is plan ahead and do better time management. That is the biggest thing that I've taken from this. And I hope that they let me come back because I do think it's a really fun store. I do really like all the little sodas they have. And if you're in LA, definitely go to Galco's because it's a very, very fun store. So anyway, if they end up watching this, the Galco family, basically everything I just said. I'm sorry, ... etc., but we don't need to get into that right now. And I hope you'll still let me back to have some of your sodas because I do really like them. Okay, bye!